Our top story then, following weeks of controversy, Qatar has kicked off the Middle East's first FIFA World Cup. Now, the most expensive World Cup in history has seen global leaders and football fans pouring into Qatar for the high-stakes tournament. Well, the opening match has seen Ecuador beat the host nation 2-0. Before that, a lavish opening ceremony at Al Bayt Stadium wowed fans. Let's get you the very latest from the ground in Qatar. Our sports editor Simon Harding is there. Simon, the opening match then spelling a win for Ecuador, defeat for Qatar.
Yes, a very straightforward result for Ecuador, who didn't have to stretch their talent at all in this game against the Asian champions. 2 goals from Enner Valencia within the first half hour, enough for Ecuador to clinch a victory at 2-0. It could have even been worse for the host nation, as Enner Valencia had an early goal ruled out for offside. But it was the case of Ecuador realising after they went 2 goals up that they didn't really have to force themselves at all, and in the second half it was a very dry affair, not many chances. Ecuador content to sit back. The Qatari goalkeeper did make one good save as the visitors tried to make it 3-0, but all in all a very straightforward result. Qatar, who lose against Ecuador, and considering there are still games to come against Senegal and Netherlands, the 2 teams who are favourites to progress from Group A, it is looking likely that Qatar are already facing an exit from the World Cup unless they manage to come up with a miracle. For Ecuador, 3 points already, a very good result. Their captain, Enner Valencia, who becomes their record goal scorer at a World Cup with 5 goals overall throughout his career. So the perfect start really for the South Americans.
I mean, Simon, in the run-up to this World Cup, a lot of questions have been raised over Qatar hosting it. Has the tournament got off to a good start, you know, as a whole?
As a whole, I think the consensus was from the locals, from the press, from FIFA, of course, that it was time now to focus on football. There's been a lot of controversy, a lot of debate. It was time now for the game to get going. We didn't get a very exciting game, it must be said, to kickstart this World Cup. Exacerbated perhaps when you realise very quickly the lack of football heritage that was on display on the pitch from Qatar, but also off it. As soon as that second goal went in the 31st minute, a lot of Qataris got up, left the stadium or went into corporate areas, but they weren't watching the football anymore. After half-time, I'd go as far as saying that half the seats in the Al Bayt Stadium behind me were actually empty, just to give you an idea of how quickly people left, how quickly people gave up on supporting their team. Even the Qatari cop, shall we call it, was half empty after half-time. Twice Ecuadorian fans tried to launch an ola, and all the locals, who are very recognisable by their traditional dress, did not rise off their seats, did not wave their arms. Even the opening ceremony itself was a celebration of football, but almost a celebration of past opening ceremonies, with all former mascots going in front of the camera. It wasn't particularly very Qatari, though of course there were snippets of Qatari culture and tradition that were in that opening ceremony. So the tournament has started, not the best start for the host, and of course very apparent early on that there is a lack of football heritage here in the Gulf nation.
All right, Simon, well, hoping that things pick up over the coming days. Now, for now, though, for us at Al Bayt Stadium, thank you.